you do need to, as a leader, not be naive. When you hire somebody, they're going to say all the right things. Don't be fooled to think that's all you're getting.
Yeah.
You're getting a lot more. And know that, okay, I love what I'm hearing about this person and I'm going to take a chance, but I also know that there's more coming with it.
Yeah.
And so don't be shocked by it. Don't be surprised by it. Be ready for it and then deal with it in a way that shows grace and humility and love and care for that individual.
What's happening, family? Welcome to another episode of the Futures Here podcast, where we discuss everything you need to know to lead the next generation. We are in a 3-part series on building a healthy organizational culture, and we are talking about relationships.
Yeah. I mean, we started with values because values kind of set the foundation for culture building. And then in this last episode, we talked about structures, a word that maybe you haven't really heard described before when it comes to organizational culture. But structure gives your values shape and clarity. And so now, Tommy, we come to what may be the hardest part of culture building, which is the human side of it.
Sure.
The relationships.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can have strong values, you can have tight structures, you can have great strategy and vision and systems, all of that stuff. But the creation of a strong, healthy culture is always, here to say this, always going to depend on the quality of the relationships that you have within that culture.
Yeah. And the relationships really determine like how the values get interpreted. And that's just true. I mean, it's a weird thing. We talk about structures and the practicality of all this, but there's also like a feeling. Like
there is.
So emotions are part of this. They don't rule us. But they're good. They can be indicators, you know? But whether your structure feels it helps you understand the relationship aspect, helps you understand, do your structures feel supportive or are they restrictive? And whether, this is really on the relational side, it's whether people stay, grow, and contribute from a place of passion, or do they simply kind of just do the bare minimum? Now, I will say to this, you can really press for the relational side and not be aware of the culture or the structure side.
Yeah.
And then you have relationships are the only reason people are sticking around in toxic cultures.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Like I've seen that a lot, especially within the church and Christians, where it's like, well, I didn't want to leave my community, or I didn't want to get kicked out. Even in scripture, you see that. People are like, in John, he talks about the blind man that was healed, who's like over 40, and his parents, you know, the Sanhedrin, like they're you know, questioning him and like, who, you know, and he's like, look, his parents were like, hey, ask him, because they were afraid of being kicked out of the synagogue. So this is all just part of being a human, but that's what's really important. So you can have that. What we want is, you want all three. You want a healthy culture that has great structures and that produces really beautiful relationships.
Yeah. And it is, again, let's just be honest, it is the hardest part of culture, and it takes the most intentional effort because we're complex, Tommy.
Yeah.
We're complex people, right? We have different personalities, our work styles. I mean, Working Genius, we talked about that in our last
You're
episode.
in different levels of healing.
Yeah, different,
different
levels of healing. Expectations vary, right? So this relational work is often the hardest. And what happens, at least what we see, Tommy, is that when relationship building is difficult, what happens is that we tend to then push heavier on structure. Mm-hmm. Which ends up creating a culture that feels or can feel controlling or oppressive.
Yeah.
You're just like, I don't want to be everybody's friend. I just want to be their boss. And so the way you manage that is you create these really tight structures for everybody that everybody has to kind of fall in line and do what and then if they break that, you come down on them really hard. So that's not what we're talking about here. So we're talking about that even though for culture building, even though you as a leader might initiate the culture that you want, it's the people who are going to carry it.
Yes.
Right. And if the climate of your organization is weak, the relational climate, then your culture is never going to be healthy. So today we want to look at what this the role of relationships plays in shaping culture and how to strengthen the relational side so that your organization becomes a place where people can grow and where they trust and where they actually can begin to thrive so that they can become What do we always say, Tommy?
Yeah.
Who they were created
yeah.
to be. That's what we want.
And I think that's the biggest gift that you can be to the world. So whether you stay at the organization or not, you're better. And wherever you go, you carry that. And I think that makes a better world. Thanks so much for tuning in. Before we continue, if you like the show and want to continue to support us, the free and simple way to do that is to simply subscribe. And so we'll do our best to continue to create content to help you in your leadership. So why relationships shape culture? Let's talk about that. Human beings, right? We bring our whole selves to work. Now, we might not trust that place, so we might cut off pieces of ourselves or not let people in and all that. But again, that creates a blame culture, and it creates a culture that's really toxic. Like I'm just here to clock in, clock out. Please don't even look in my direction or talk to me. But they bring their whole selves to work. So their hopes and their insecurities and their strengths and their blind spots and their past experiences, the way they communicate and the things they carry with them. And because of that, culture becomes relational very quickly. It's what it is. Places that aren't like that are the worst.
Yeah.
Right? Like everywhere I've worked in a lot of spaces like that, but I've always brought that and slowly helped melt that a little bit to where people were like, oh, okay. And they enjoyed coming to work, right? Because we laughed, we had a good time, we got the work done, we got it done quickly, we became friends, right? Yeah. You can create that kind of culture wherever you're at. And I remember doing that in several places.
Let me mention something here, Tommy, because when my wife and I work with couples, especially in the premarital mentoring that we do, here's one of the things I always tell people. I'm like, you do realize that when you get married, you're bringing 100% of who you are, and she's also bringing 100% of who she is. But the lens that we usually think about marriage through is that, I love this because I get to bring in 100% who I are and the best parts of who she is. And we forget that there's also, because the courtship is always that, right?
Oh, yeah.
The courtship is always the best parts.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh, yeah, I get to bring in, this is who I'm marrying. No, you're not just marrying the best parts of her. You're marrying all of her.
We should bring Rachel on this.
So how this translates here.
So she could be like, careful now. I didn't know I was marrying this 100% of Tommy.
But here's what I want you to hear as a leader. This starts at the hiring process.
Yeah.
When you hire somebody, they're going to say all the right things. Right. You might even ask the right questions, and you might even get a little deeper on them. But when you hire that person, don't be fooled to think that's all you're getting.
Yeah.
You're getting a lot more. And now, legally, you can't press into tell me about your background. What trauma have you had? You can't get into all of that stuff, right? But you do need to, as a leader, not be naive.
Yeah.
And know that, I love what I'm hearing about this person, and I'm going to take a chance, but I also know that there's more coming with it.
Yeah.
And so don't be shocked by it. Don't be surprised by it. Be ready for it, and then deal with it in a way that shows grace and humility and love and care for that individual.
That's good. Yes.
So your people, listen, here's the thing about it. Your people might accept all the work. Like, you're going to assign stuff to them. They're going to be working the mission. They're going to be trying to head toward the vision. They might accept all of that. But how they perform will actually depend on whether or not they feel valued or dismissed in that work.
Yeah.
If they feel like, I'm just here to make my leader look better. I'm just here to, do work, and I'm not getting any value. I'm not getting anything out of it, but it's a job. It's a paycheck. And so I'm going to do it. And some leaders are like, they're doing their job. That's great. I think what we're saying is, from a value perspective, it's got to be more than that.
Right.
You can't just look at their performance. You have to look at also who they are as an individual and how they feel. Look at the whole person. Because trust is the currency of culture. We'll say consistency is kind of the relational glue. Honesty is the language that we want to use. Respect is the atmosphere that we want to create. And safety is kind of the foundation for a relationship.
Yes. And I think about this, for those of you guys listening to this, you have to go back to the question of why would we put all this effort in? Mm-hmm. If you run a pretzel shop, why the heck would I care? I just need you to make pretzels and sell them.
That's good.
But if you are a follower of Jesus, this is where I press back on you. dude, if you don't have those values, a Christ-centered value, okay, cool, yeah. Treat people however you want. I don't, like, there's no judgment. Like, well, there's judgment on it, but you do whatever you want. But if you're a follower of Christ, you're compelled to then live by the set of values. And that's what we're pressing. We're saying then whatever you do, whether it's making pretzels or you're out there saving the world, right, and feeding people who are starving, you want to live by this value set, and you want to treat those people the way Christ would treat them, so that they may treat their customers or the people they're feeding in the way that Christ would treat them. Because of that, therefore, we do all this hard work to do this. But here's the secret sauce. When you do that, you become more successful, and it's a better enterprise. Like, that's all we're saying. Like, it works this way. It's not that we're just doing it for righteousness' sake. Like, I just want to get into heaven, so I'm going to have to do all this relational stuff. No.
Yeah.
It actually makes your enterprise better. It makes your nonprofit better, your church, all that. So
if you want to do a deep dive on an organization that does this really well, look at In-N-Out.
Yeah.
I think I've been studying In-N-Out for a while now, and I have mad respect for Lindsay Snyder, who took over from her dad and her uncle, who started the organization. But the way that they live out their values, they have stuck to their values from the beginning.
Yeah.
They treat people fairly. They treat them with kindness. They love people, care for them well, because of exactly what you said, because they know that if they do that, if their employees feel well respected and treated, their customers are going to feel that, right? It's just going to flow through their employees out to their customers. So she's done a great job of maintaining that ethos, right? Those values and that culture. So if you don't believe that this works, go look at them. Take a deep dive and find out what they do right. And one of the things that they do right is this: relationships are a big part of how they build culture in the organization.
And so let's talk about that. How do you actually build a relationally healthy culture?
Yeah, well, so here's what we have to understand with relationships. There's 3 directions that relationships flow: downward, upward, and across.
Okay.
Right. Downward this is how leaders relate, you and I, Tommy, how we relate to the people we're responsible for.
Yeah.
Upward is how your employees essentially respond to that, right? Yeah. How they lead, how they relate to their leaders. And then across is really how your team and your coworkers, and even if you have peers, how you relate to one another. And the thing about it is that each direction carries a different set of responsibilities. And so when all 3 directions are healthy, the organization becomes unified. Yeah. When only one of them is, like, if a cross relationally is really healthy, but the other 2 are not, you have basically a mutiny.
Yeah. The revolution.
They are all collaborating against you as a leader, right? Because they love each other and they're with you. They're with each other, but they're not with you. Yeah. And so all 3 of these have to play together. So let's talk about each one. Let's break down each one of these, Tommy.
Yeah, man. So downward relationships. When it comes to downward relationships, it's the leader. We set the tone, right? So people will take their emotional cues from you, and it's not because we're perfect or you're perfect, but because the role the weight your role carries, right? So your position gives you authority, but your consistency earns you trust. Every interaction I have with somebody, in moments of care or concern or conflict that's handled well, that really helps. So, downward relationships require several things. Number 1, clarity, which is, we've been talking about this a lot. People need to know what you expect, what success looks like, and where the boundaries are. And any kind of ambiguity from us as a leader, it creates anxiety for the team. Yeah. And a lot of us will do this unaware. Like, there's certain ways that I operate in my personality, my gift set, that I'm like, ooh, for that person, they actually need me to engage a little bit more, and I haven't been. And so let me, once I understand that and see that, let me engage in a different way. Let me have a different structure, right? Go back to the last episode, so that I can engage better with them, so that they know that I'm actually for them. So there's a lot of those kind of things where clarity and making sure that's understood in relationships, it's tough. That's why you can't have 1 million direct reports, right? You really can't even have that many, because you can't. It's too hard, right? Yeah. Relationally. So the first one is clarity.
Yeah, because I think ambiguity it'll create a lot of anxiety if you're out spouting directions and all this stuff and vision even, you know. People are like, I'm not sure what he means by that.
Right.
And you haven't cleared it, you're going to get people going in 10 different directions. The second one is accessibility. Listen, here's the thing. You don't, as a leader, you don't have to be everybody's best friend. Nobody's saying that, okay? But you do need to be approachable. Yeah. People need to know that they can come to you and that you're not going to chew their head off when they come to you and ask for clarification, or when they've messed up and they come over and say, hey, I made a mistake, right? They need to know that you're accessible. But here's the thing. We had a whole episode on this, Tommy. You got to be careful about conflation. Yeah. You're not their best friend. You're not their daddy. You're not their path. You can't be all of those things all at once.
At the same time.
At the same time, right? Yeah. You can play those different roles, but you have to be really careful how you play. And some of those roles you may, depending on your organization, may think, yeah, you know what, that's probably not appropriate for this particular organization. So you have to be careful about conflation, but you have to be accessible.
Yeah, and again, this takes a lot of, on the leader, it takes a lot of introspection. Like there's ways that like, people have told me in my leadership, dude, you're hard to approach.
Oh, dude.
And
my wife has told me this.
Right. And so I have to be like, oof, okay, I need to remain soft, or my posture, or I need to invite it. If people, just by the way I look, man, I might be thinking, but I look mean. I'm just thinking. It has nothing to do with you. So if I know that, then I can create a structure. Hey, at the end of meetings, hey, would love if anybody has questions about this, come talk to me. I'm open, don't worry. You know, and then once they have some experiences, they're good. Number 3 would be fairness, right? Nothing destroys culture faster than favoritism. Like, so fairness builds stability, consistency builds trust. Again, that's why you have structures so that you're treating everybody the same. I'll give you a great example. There's not a separate policy for Tommy as the CEO.
Right.
I try very hard to go, if I get to do it, you get to do it. And we have to think through that. We have different responsibilities. We have different roles. We have different compensation. We have all those things are true. However, value-wise would go, I'm not above you. So if I get to do it, then could it work for everybody? And if not, then maybe I shouldn't do it. And we have those, we work through that. And that helps, man. Once people see that, it really bonds them to you, you know, or bonds them to you. Like they're that guy's for me.
Yeah, yeah.
It's great.
No. The fourth thing is humility and correction. So again, people will accept correction from a leader who themselves is willing to be corrected.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because it becomes relationally damaging when people receive, I would say, if people are receiving more correction than direction, then you're not leading them, you're bleeding them. And so you have to be able to receive the humility and correction, but also make sure that you're humble in how you're correcting people as well.
That's so good, man. Number 5, development. Your people want to know you see their potential. Like, this is actually your main job.
Yeah, this is something you're really good at, Tommy.
Oh, thanks, man.
I've learned a lot from you in this particular area.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Just this one, though. Nothing else.
Okay. 1 out of 6.
Just kidding.
So, like, if they know that you're for them, that you're invested in their growth, and like it really helps. And leaders who invest in the development of other create environments where talent multiplies. Listen, this isn't just about people liking you. This is about, if you want to reach your vision, you have all these gifts around you. You have to understand the gift, be able to pull it out, pour into it, receive it, and have it be given. And when you do that, people are like super for you. It keeps people on the train longer. They're for you. They leave. If they leave on great terms, and they leave to go do greater things. Like, you cannot lose while developing people. This is why our core leadership development is, you're here to help them become who they're created to be. It literally helps you and whatever you're leading be better. So that's a really important one. So
the last one, number 6, is, and Tommy, we've talked about this. We had a whole episode on this as well. Emotional maturity.
Yeah.
Dude, you as a leader, you can't throw tantrums all the time with people. Like you have to have some sort of stability, emotional maturity. You can't lead out of your insecurity or your own instability.
Your woundedness, right?
Or your woundedness, because then every time somebody asks you a question, you're like, oh, you're going to be triggered, you're going to be attacked, all of that stuff. You're going to feel those things, right? And so when you're inconsistent emotionally, because again, you as a leader carry double the weight, the whole organization feels unstable.
Yeah.
And you don't want your team walking on pins and needles around you. You don't want them like second guessing decisions or not making decisions, all because they're like, ooh, I don't know how Tommy's going to react if I do this or don't do this, or like, that's just such a horrible, and let's just call it for what it is. That's a toxic environment.
Yeah.
When people feel that way.
And I would say, like, here's when we say this, like, you're not perfect and we don't want you to be, like, stop trying to make your team think you are. We get it. What we're asking you to be is like steady, honest, committed to the growth of your people, which means actually you're committed to your own growth.
Yeah.
For instance, when, you bring this of emotional maturity, like the way that where I come from, the way I'm made, the way I was shaped, in childhood, the way I survived, there are totally moments of me emotional outbursts or coming down on people or, and I've always had to go back, apologize, change, and say, here's how I'm going to be different. And God's done a work in me. Like, it's very different. Just ask my older children and my youngest child. Like, it's very different dad.
Yeah.
The older kids are a little bitter about it because they're like, man, and I'm like, look, I evolved, I changed, I grew, I'm better, right? And so we want to be better. So it's really important. Yeah. Next, upward relationships.
Yeah. So while leadership influence is huge, like the downward relationships, the staff also have a responsibility. So here at Say This Leaders, we're not saying it's all on you.
No.
The part of the culture building is that your staff, your team, has a responsibility in how they relate upward as well. And so let us share just kind of what healthy upward relationships look like. And there's 5 elements here. The first one is honesty. We want your team to be honest, but you want them to do it with respect.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. I can't fix what I don't see, and I don't see everything.
Right. Yeah.
So I have to have honesty with respect. Staff who speak honestly but respectfully help the whole organization grow.
Yeah. They're a gift if you can receive them well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second thing is initiative, right? I cannot emphasize enough how loved I feel as a leader when you, as one of my team, takes initiative. When you bring solutions and not just problems, that builds upward trust. And I love that. The third thing is consistent communication, right? Leaders should not have to hunt for information. I don't want to have to keep asking you, hey, where is that? Where is that? Where is that? You should be able to bring that update to me on a regular basis, not like all the time. Like, I'm not trying to micromanage you, but I would like to understand exactly kind of where you are, right? Because that shows maturity. What are the last 2, Tommy?
Number 4, integrity. Doing what you said you were going to do. Like, if you follow through,
big one for you.
It's a big one. It's just like, and then ask, in this, the integrity too is asking for help, I think too. When you're just like, hey, I want to get this done. I need some help with it. I'm not sure, but just do what you say you're going to do, or don't say you're going to do it, and then we have a different conversation. But a big one on that is just own your mistakes. I cannot stand blame shifting. And therefore I don't practice it. Right. Then that's a cultural thing. When you as a part of an organization are just like, that was my mistake. Again, though, if you're a leader who had created a safe place, it's a lot easier to own mistakes. And then it's easier for the leader to go, it's okay. What did we learn from it? Right. We talked about that. Yeah. So this builds upward trust faster than talent ever will. Like, honestly, you own it and you bring a solution. You do these things. It's huge. Number 5, emotional impact. Healthy organizations encourage honesty, but they also require emotional responsibility. You can be honest in a staff meeting or with a leader, but that honesty can be brutal. It could be harsh. It could be the way you share it can be unwarranted. Like how you share that and how you couch that is really important. And so we get it. Like, people go through stuff, and as a leader, we have to show grace for those in those moments. But being consistently combative can affect not just your leader, but the rest of the team. In fact, you become the problem, right? And it's like, unless you can control your emotions in that, while being honest, like it's just not helpful.
We have to understand that people go through stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a lot of times we have to show a lot of grace for that.
Oh yeah, a ton.
But we have to look for patterns as well. If that becomes an issue, like you're trying to run an organization, you're trying to lead people, you do want to show them grace, but at some point you might need to deal with whatever emotional issue is handling there. And again, I deal with it gracefully, right? Like asking, hey, how can we help? Can we help you? Can we help you get some help?
Yeah.
You know, because clearly this isn't working. And so it's not like you're trying to just get rid of the person, but you want to make sure that you offer them the right level of help. And listen, I've been part of even secular organizations, Tommy, where I've had to deal twice now in my lifetime with an alcoholic employee.
Yeah.
Where it got really bad and I had to have that conversation with them. I'm like, hey, listen, I smell it on your breath all the time. Like this is something we have to deal with. But I made it really clear, like, hey, I'm here to help.
Yeah.
Okay. I value you. I just want you to get help. So what can we do? The company, I had talked to the company. The company was willing to pay for them to go through, the help that they needed. And so we did that. And you know what? They went through it and they came back, and honestly, they were better than ever.
No.
Like they were so grateful, right?
Yeah.
Because they were really smart, really talented. It's just that this was getting in the way. So by the time I left the company, they were still there. They were still operating. Now, I had another situation where we tried the same thing and it didn't work.
Yeah.
And we ended up having to get rid of the employee. The point I'm trying to make is that, yes, as a leader, we want to show grace. We want to help. We want to care for our people well, but not at the expense of everybody else in the organization. Right. You got to deal with these issues, even as sensitive as they might be.
So now, number 3, the overall for this is the direction is the cross relationships.
So we talked downward, we talked upward.
Now it's a cross, right?
Cross.
So let's talk about the relationships across teams and departments. And it's really these relationships that determine where culture becomes collaborative or if it's fractured.
Yeah.
And so healthy lateral relationships require several habits. Number 1, collaboration. Like if you're not in a blame culture, then you want to share information. It's not about hoarding like, oh, I got to get one up on you. It's about sharing information, asking for input, working towards shared outcomes rather than protecting your personal territory. That's a big one. And again, you can help shape the culture there, but we're hoping that the leader that's the overall culture is supportive of this because it's really important.
Let me just share just one really tangible thing where collaboration can show up. And it's not probably what you normally think about. If I'm doing my job and I come up with a better way to do it, like let's say I develop a template, rather than just like, I'm keeping this template to myself because it's making me more productive. Collaborating would be to be like, hey guys, I made this template. I don't know if it'll be helpful for you, but here, feel free to use it. And then before you know it, everybody's using the template and it's made everybody else's job better. That's a form of collaboration as well.
That builds a lot of trust, dude.
Yeah, it builds a lot of trust. You're not just hoarding knowledge and just to make yourself look better. You want to bring the team up as well with you.
Absolutely. Number 2, encouragement. Teams thrive when colleagues notice each other's wins. And encouragement really multiplies momentum. And, this is that principle that words have power.
Yeah.
Like whenever you have positive words, there's some cultures too, laterally speaking, where especially in our context where, we're always making fun of each other, or we're always coming down on each other, or we're always like bagging on somebody. You can change that culture by just starting to go, hey man, good job. I saw that. Like it starts to change things, and literally the science backs it. It'll help everybody there.
Yeah.
Like those kind of positive words helps everybody produce better. Like it's just what it is. So
now this is an area though where you as a leader can actually cause problems. I won't say who it is. I talked to a leader once who was like, I make my team compete against each other. Like I pit them against each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, well, yeah, because I get better results that way. And I'm just like, and so that does, that creates a culture of competition that's unhealthy. Yeah. Where like, I'm not going to encourage you because I gotta win, right? Yeah. I'm rewarding the wrong thing there.
Yeah.
Instead of rewarding the team, I'm rewarding individuals who rise above the team. That's not healthy. That's not encouragement. The third one is healthy conflict, right? There will be conflict. Gosh, we experience conflict here in our organization, right? It's not like even in a healthy marriage, there's always really, really good conflict.
Yeah.
right? The question
part
is,
of it.
Yeah, the question is whether that conflict becomes productive and you both learn from it and the organization learns, or it becomes personal.
Yeah.
Where you hold a grudge and you hold on to that, and then next time you're like, see, and then I get back at you, right? Healthy conflict is what focuses on the issue, not the individual. And so we want to be able to build that kind of conflict resolution culture within our team.
Right. And so instead of the person like sitting across and go, you're the problem, you and I are both looking at the problem.
Yeah.
And like, can we solve that? What's the problem that we're solving? So, and I know those of you out there are going to be like, yeah, it's the other person. They're the problem. Again, 5% of the time. 5%. And so there it is. Number 4, accountability, right? Holding each other to shared expectation builds stability and trust. Like, hey, if you showed up and you did what you're supposed to do, that accountability is, hey, I need you to show up. And so when you do your part of that, you can't control other people, but when you do your part of that, it really builds a lot of trust. Number 5.
Yeah, generosity. I mean, I kind of shared a little bit about this with collaboration, but teams that freely share resources or knowledge will build a stronger relational culture, right?
Yeah.
We want to be generous with each other. Even, for example, like if you see your teammates struggling and you're just like, oh, I have some time, let me go help them, right? Do their job. You're not even, it's not even helping you do your job. You're helping them do their job. That's just being generous with your time and helping beautiful. Others, right? Yeah. That's when that kind of stuff goes on, you're just like, oh man, that's just so awesome.
Which you won't have in the way you describe the competitive
culture, you won't have that kind of
There is a way to be competitive towards a goal where everybody wins, but that's a whole nother podcast. But last one is number 6 is avoiding the triangles. This one is actually massive in organizations. So nothing damages culture faster than talking about someone instead of talking to them. So triangulation is, oh, I got a problem with this person, so I'm going to talk to this person about that person. And hopefully maybe they'll go talk to that person for me. Like, don't do that. So direct communication builds unity, indirect communication builds division. I would also say this when it comes to conflict and communication, if there's conflict in it, do not do it in a text or an email. Like you need to go speak to that person because then they can experience the spirit of what you're bringing.
Yeah.
And that spirit needs to be right. That's a whole nother podcast. But so when those kind of relationships across people and teams are strong, collaboration becomes natural. But when they're weak and the silos kind of take over, that's where the culture begins to erode. And that's where you can tell when you walk into a place like that. People are grumbling. There's factions. There's people that are left out. It's a blame culture. It's not good.
Yeah. So here's some relational practices because we always want to be practical about the steps that you can take to strengthen culture.
Yeah.
So the first one is this: build predictable communication rhythms. Now we've been talking, even in the last episode on this one, a lot about rhythms, but they're so important for building relationship, right?
Yeah.
I think, in one of our episodes, you had mentioned that, hey, if I only talk to my wife at certain times, I'm not going to have a great relationship if I only talk to them during this particular time. When I'm in a car, right? So we have to build these predictable rhythms, regular check-ins, open channels, clear updates, those kinds of things, because that lowers anxiety for people.
Yeah.
The second one is normalize appreciation. And again, this is something I think you do really well. I think gratitude creates connection with your team, recognition and reinforces positive behavior. And we just have to remember that a sincere word, just an encouragement, man, that goes a long way toward building unity with your team.
Yeah. And the key word there is sincere.
Yes.
I have seen it where
don't gaslight.
Don't gaslight people. Because it builds culture too. Like, oh, I feel bad for so-and-so. Hey, good job, and everybody else is like, oh, he's like pitying them. I don't want that. So that doesn't create it. But when it's sincere and it's true, it's good. Number 3 is create space for connection. Like, some of us are so driven and the way we are built, like the informal stuff, like team lunches or, some of us call it group hugs. But the intentional time together, reflection questions at the start of meetings, devotional time, like spaces where people can share some of that, of who they really are. It's huge. And that creates safe spaces for people to share what's really going on. That helps you as a leader to understand what's going on with your people so that you can actually address it and go, hey, I remember that you're still carrying that. Are you doing okay? How can I support you in that?
Let me just say the one thing about this, though. Don't bring your title into informal spaces.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Talk about that.
You know what I mean? Because like one of the things I love are we do lunch regularly here. Yeah. It's not always all the same people, but we lunch together here. And I love the conversation, the lunchtime conversations. Yeah. But I'm not coming in to lunch as like, I'm the COO and I'm here to, COO you during my conversation.
No, you're just
like,
Robert.
I'm just Robert. Yeah. I'm sharing about my marriage, my kids, things that are happening. Leave the titles and the egos at the door whenever you enter these informal settings, because that's really where you build connection in a way that is meaningful for people.
Yeah. Number 4, address conflict early. Yes. We always just say, keep a short list.
Yeah.
Like, just take care of it. Avoiding conflict never helps. So you always want to address it honestly, respectfully, and quickly. I know this is tough for a lot of people. That is actually a really huge one.
And number 5, again, we talk about the emotional maturity thing. You have to model it, right? Your team is going to mirror your tone. Steady leaders build steady cultures, Tommy.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Chaotic leaders build chaotic cultures. Yeah. I mean, what you are, how you behave is how the organization, right? As I go, so goes the organization.
There it is.
And the last one, 6, is, and again, this is maybe hard for people to understand, but make trust visible.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Share information whenever you can. Just be consistent in all your decisions. This is a big one too. Follow through on your commitments. Man, don't tell me you're going to do something if you're not going to do it. Don't make me promises that you're not going to keep, but you're just trying to do it because you're trying to make me feel good.
Right, yeah.
Like, don't. Because in the end, I won't feel good because you broke your promise. Right? Admit mistakes. Like, dude, I messed up. Dude, one of the things I hate is when I know you made a mistake.
And you just don't own it. And
I'm like, hey, and then they're trying to play around, play around with words and not really take ownership. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, just own it. Like, I'm not even mad about it. Just, I'm mad because you won't admit it. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't mad, but now you got me mad. Trust becomes visible in behavior long before it becomes felt in the culture. So pay attention to these behaviors.
So friends, I would just say, when healthy culture, it shows itself in the relationships people build with one another. It's one of the ways that when we do coach and we work with organizations and churches, this is what we're watching and looking for. But when those relationships are strong, the entire organization becomes resilient, it moves forward, it gets better, it becomes innovative. It's all the beautiful things that you want for what you're leading. And teams bounce back from stress faster. People adapt to change with more confidence. Like we just went through a major crisis, and our team was solid. Oh, yeah. Our team was such a gift. And that comes from the culture that we all built together here. In all those directions, we built it together. And so feedback becomes easier to give and easier to receive. There's so many great things that come from this, right? So we would hope that you would take this kind of healthy culture, that you would start with the values, you would build the structures, and you would play those out through the relationships that you have. Yeah. Anything you'd add to it?
No, just the relationships are what give your culture life.
Yeah.
And so you have to remember that, culture is going to shift one relationship at a time.
That's it. So we hope you've enjoyed this 3-part series on how to build a healthy culture, organizational culture. And we really hope, with all of our being, that you will implement this.
Yes.
Now, if you are a leader and you're running a church or a nonprofit, or you're in our space, we're here to help you do this.
Hit us up.
We have a full pathway for you to figure out how to learn this, how to implement it. We have a ton of different certification cohorts that you could actually join in on and jump in on, so you could learn this. This is all throughout everything.
We have a bunch of structures that we'll give you for free.
We have a ton of structures that we'll give you for free online, uywi.org. So check all that out. Make sure that you like this, subscribe, share it with other people. We'll see you guys on the next time, the Futures Here podcast.
See you.
Peace.